for Armenians. Besides, the internal intrigues prevailing at the time allowed Armenians to implement their plans. As you know, Azerbaijan was occupied by Tsar Russia in the early 19th century, and afterwards the mass resettlement of Armenians in the Azerbaijan lands started. For the first time in history, an Armenian state was established in the territory of Western Azerbaijan in the early 20th century. Andronik's Dashnak groups attacked Nüvədi village, burned and destroyed it, and drove all the people out of the village in the late 18th century. The overwhelming majority of the people passed across the Aras River and took refuge in Misan village of southern Azerbaijan. Only part of the villagers returned to Nüvədi starting from 1922 and restored the economy of the village. A few families of Nüvədi people stayed in Misan village and became its permanent residents. The Aras River separates Armenia from Iran. It's possible to easily gaze at the territories along Armenia's border from the Iranian side of Faras. There is almost nobody in those territories. It's impossible to hide all this from anyone in the 21st century in the world where the Internet and the Google Earth program exist. This fact alone is enough to find out the national identity of Armenians. The Armenians who do not confine themselves to occupation of the territories where Azerbaijanis once lived publicly state that they want to establish Great Armenia. They have ever raised this to the level of national ideology. One should ask Armenians, who will live in Great Armenia you want to establish in your dreams? How will you live in Great Armenia if you cannot live in Little Armenia? You draw out other nations living in Armenia. Although you were newcomers, you banished local peoples from their lands with the help of your supporters. And now you are leaving those lands as well. If you are not going to live in the lands occupied by you, why do you need those lands? Today, hundreds of villages in Armenia have turned into ruins. Nobody lives in the villages where Azerbaijanis once lived. One can witness all this through the Google Earth program. This fact itself gives our ground to say that the territories of present-day Armenia have never been the historical lands of Armenians, and they have never seen these lands at their motherland. The number of residents of Nüvədi village, where Azerbaijanis lived until 1991, was over 1,500 people. Although the geographical conditions of the village were so complicated, Azerbaijanis kept living here for thousands of years, as it was a motherland for Azerbaijanis. Even though they were banished from Nüvədi by Armenians in 1918, the residents of this village returned to their homeland after a while. Despite the unfavorable environmental conditions and pressures by Armenians, the residents of Nüvədi village did not leave it, and their number constantly increased because it's a motherland for them. But Armenians left this village after experiencing a little hardship, as it was not a homeland for Armenians. Armenians have repeatedly admitted this fact. In 2008, an article about Nüvədi village was posted on the operarmenia.com website belonging to Armenians. The article quotes the villagers as saying that in 1991, after the banishment of Azerbaijanis from Nüvədi, 200 Armenian families were resettled there. However, more than 160 families left the village in the next years. The article reads that only 38 families live in the village, and many of these families will leave the village in the nearest time.
Azərbaycanın ərazi bütövlüyü tam şəkildə bərpa edilməlidir. Şuşada, Xankəndidə Azərbaycan dövlət bayrağı qaldırılmalıdır və gələcəkdə Azərbaycanlılar bütün tarixi torpaqlarda yaşamalıdırlar. Bizim tarixi torpaqlarımız İrəvan xanlığıdır, Göyçə, Zəngəzur mahalıdır. Bizim tarixi torpaqlarımızdır və vaxt gələcək biz orada da yaşayacağıq. Mən buna inanıram, buna əminəm və buna nail olmaq üçün hər birimiz öz səhərlərini qoymalıdır, hər birimiz öz işi ilə o müqəddəs günü yaxınlaşdırmalıdır.